Blessings and welcome to the Ascension Alchemist podcast. Not podcast, podcast. It's your host, Reverend Honey Borden. Thank you so much for being here today. I am delighted to join this community with you, a community where we sure go through the ebb and flow of life. It is part of our ascension embodiment where we've ascended to that remembrance, and it is the walk of remembrance with all that we face and all the dreams that we bring into the present. So thank you so much for being here. I am focused today on giving you a whole different perspective from last week. As you heard me last week, coming back from Florida, closing the storage and all those 4 days, how incredibly Michael and I worked together to wrap everything up, close the storage, have 2 events, come back, and on to what happened this week. That is all about water leak. And I want to go dive into this space, what we've been experiencing, and also what happens when you face life challenges, right? How are you actually meeting it? Is your faith released? Is it with works or is it dead? Is it from a place of trust? And what this human experience is actually experiencing through this process. So thank you so much for being here as I got a handful, a mouthful to share with you today. So right now, as I'm sharing this, I just got back to our apartment from the hotel. The apartment is super cold. There is no hot water here. There's actually no water. The heater doesn't work. The dryer doesn't work. The water doesn't work. None of these things work. And it's Memorial Weekend. It's been extremely cold here in Maryland. Rainy, rainy, rainy. Complete 100% rainy day. Right now it's stopped a little bit. And I'm going to backtrack with you from Tuesday what's taken place. And before doing that, I want to say how grateful I am as I'm sitting here at my desk recording this video, because I tried to do it at the hotel. I just couldn't record at the hotel. So I knew I needed to come back here at my desk, be exactly where I am in front of this magnificent tree that I'm always sitting where I'm recording the podcast, how glorious these leaves are and how generous mighty God Almighty is. So let me backtrack with you. As we got back on Sunday night, Monday, Michael and I had a bit of a rest day, just trying to put our stuff away. And Michael was especially really tired from lifting so many boxes and bins, and especially we had to go drop things off at my mother's house and Nevan's and Kiyan's house, my son's. And then coming back here, we live 3 flights of stairs. There's no elevator here. And we love it because we get to exercise. These bodies get to move, which we love. So Monday was a bit of a rest, just trying to catch up. And what happened Tuesday morning was interesting. As I went in the kitchen, I saw that there was water leak that had come in. And there was and I couldn't quite understand what was happening. So we called the owners, and the owners of the condo were right away on it. They wanted us to check some things. Let's just say out of that came a whole bunch of, my God, right away into motion. We had to take things all out of the kitchen, box things up, put these back in bins, put them up. The next day they were coming to start the repair. They actually had to take some walls down. They had to take all kinds of things down, and they then wanted to see if they can put us in a hotel. So between all of this, I just want you to have this understanding as we've just come back, we faced this. So typically, when these things happen, I know that because it's like added stress or inconvenience or discomfort, none of those I allowed to get into my spirit. My very first thing was, God Almighty, I know you're in charge of this. I don't know why this is happening, yet I know you're behind the scenes, something amazing is taking place. I'm sharing why this is so important because this is a step that I have learned to take and change. Years ago, before, I used to give it a meaning. I used to say, oh my God, water leaked, it meant this. Water leak, it meant this. And it would play out all these things, which at some point I was like, that's not necessary truth. If I believe it, then that is true. If I give it that meaning, then I'm coming in agreement. And I have chosen the last few years to shift everything around, put it on the presence of God Almighty, and claiming and declaring, even this that is inconvenient happening is happening for my greatest good. God Almighty is behind this. Nothing is out of order. Only better and greater takes place. So that's been my attitude towards anything that comes up. I've chosen to give it the meaning that I want to give it, that God Almighty, this great mighty creator that created us, created everything, is not here to do harm, is not here, is so much out of love, and only greater, better things come out of it. So that's the agreement that I have come to stand with within myself. And Michael has come into that. So it was great. We both were like, okay, something greater is happening. I don't know yet. And I played this game with myself, get even more excited in the expectancy that something amazing, greater come happen. So what's interesting is that when we contact the owners, we had to actually comfort the owners because they were very stressed. They had been dealing with two other major things that had happened. This was the third one. And it was amazing how we came together with the owners to create this space of trust, to create this space of safety, to create this space of all is going to be okay. And I want to share why this is so important, because a lot of times we can go into this panic mode. We can go into this extra stress mode. And you never know if this situation that has taken place, it is an opportunity where you can extend a level of hope to someone, which we clearly saw in our case. Although we were the ones that were negatively impacted by this, the owners were so distressed. So we got to have this opportunity to really calm the minds of the owners and let them know that we'll be collaborating with them in each step of the way. Very graceful, very, very generous and gentle with every step and being on top of it. Michael was amazing with all the coordination between the plumber folks, between like all the ones that have to coordinate. And I was just busy packing things, taking it. At first I thought I'd go sleep at my son's house. But when I got to my son's house, I was like, okay, there isn't an extra bed there to sleep on the couch. I've been sleeping on hotel. I really want to sleep on my bed. I was like, no. So then they offered a hotel. And so it's quite interesting. I was trying to see whether we can still stay here. They had to cover all these things up with plastic. We had to shift everything around. And again, 3 flights of stairs, back and forth, taking things to my son, taking things to the hotel, coming back and forth, everything displayed. And imagine the appointments. I had 2 interviews this week for my NDE. I had to cancel those, again, reschedule them. There were a couple of other things scheduled. Everything had to be shifted around. And because we had this Memorial Weekend coming up, everything else had to sort of like be put into motion to see what can be done before. Now, when you are doing the part you can and everything else is not then in your hands, what's amazing is to be able to lean on God Almighty. So I kept saying, God Almighty, listen, God Almighty, I'm going to invite you into the situation. I'm going to release the wheels here. You're in charge. You are going to do something better. So let it be better. What was so wonderful about this was that the contractors came back, the owners, we all shared just a whole bunch of good news around the way. We really took the time to put our energy on good news, every small wins, and really inviting those into the space, so that way there is no room to go into doubt, to go into being upset, to go into being angry, to speak negatively, to be ill will or anything like that, because honestly there is no art to that. And I know I have behaved from that place before, just as you have. How many times, like for example, you've gotten a flat tire, or for example you've had a water leak, or you've had toilet breaking, or this or that, and it's affected your mood. I decided there is no way anything is going to affect my mood. My mood is still going to be in celebration and joy and gratitude and thanksgiving and praise. That's what I'm choosing, because at the end of the day, it is a choice. And I know I have numerous times given into the situation, even though my attitude has generally been good, but still getting pulled into the inconvenience, or for example exhaustion. Coming back from Florida, we were already wiped out, and then going into this. So we ourselves are doing it to ourselves. We can uplift it, or we can downgrade it and sort of have it be like a poison, consume us and become so negative and be bitter and speak bitterness. I said, no, there's no way. So with Michael, we decided we're going to be in this communication with the owners and everybody else, very loving, because at the end of the day, here, we are on this podcast, Ascension Alchemists, right? Embodying the remembrance of God Almighty presence in us, that eternal light. We are created from that love that is from the God Almighty that has created us. We are in this form. We are in this body. We are in a human, a ray of light. In a man means body in Hebrew. So here we are in a body. Why are we here? We're here to bring the blessings into this world. So situations that come up give us the opportunity to bless the situation through God Almighty. Bring God Almighty into the situation. Let it be uplifted from that contraction of, let's say, discomfort or just annoyance or disruption or everything that take place, and not give it a meaning that, oh, this is the work of the dark, this is the work of the enemy, or this is, oh my God, this must be happening. These are all thoughts that, when we're contracting with them, are separating us further and further from God Almighty. This is why there are these things within the spiritual community that I have left behind. I never really resonated with it, and I've moved to a true conviction that is not what I want to live my life. So the last few years, I've turned things around, like, absolutely not. Those are not the truth. They're not the truth. Just because it's played out, they are not the truth. I am choosing the truth on God Almighty and that presence. So even with situation like this, so for example, we've been going from hotel back to my son's house to try to get work done, because sometimes, like the hotel, the energy is very stagnant, because you can't even open the windows. So I've been over there and also emptying some of those bins. We came back from Florida, so I can finish them. Here's what's interesting thing. Those bins that we brought back from Florida, I have this month of June, to empty as much out, give as much out, sell whatever I want to do, because my both sons are leaving their place. Both of them are moving to different place. So there is this also further clearing that's taking place that I'm actually very excited about. I brought some of my gorgeous plates back from Florida, which gives me opportunity to serve differently as I I replaced the plates and all of that I have here, because we've had to wipe out every cabinet from floor to ceiling, everything. And this is a blessing as well. Sometimes water comes so that it can bring all the blessings, and it allows all the old to be cleared. Now, I don't know if any of you have had like a full basement flood or house flood. I've gone through that before. It is an insane experience. And because I've experienced it, and because I have seen what has come out of it, which has been amazing, I can lean on this trust, especially when anything to do with water. For me, water is a blessing. And in particularly, if any of you read the scriptures, there's a lot of reference to water and the overpouring and the rains. There's a lot of that reference. This is all the good that is coming into the life, and I just know that. So I want to remind you, if you get something like a pipe broke or water leaking, anything like that, if it leaks into environment, yes, it's inconvenient. Yet take a step back for a moment before you go to panic, before you go to any kind of stress or start acting from there. Remember, you are in the witness and presence of God Almighty. You as a community are given the opportunity to stand tall in grace, embody God Almighty into your life, into your situation. So that way you can bring the presence of God into that and allow it to be uplifted instead of going in a panic mode, what the usual human condition is all about, because it's just operating from the five senses. So call your great, ginormous self into the situation and remain calm so your nervous system is calm, good attitude, beautiful, joyous mood, and you can go through it. And remember that from this, you will be a blessing to others that you're interacting, and they are also going to be lifted just as we experienced. So I want to share this because I did a video on it. When life throws you lemons, you don't have to be victim of lemons. And you may have been, but I'm here to share with you, make the best freaking lemonade. That was my reel that I posted on Instagram and Facebook. Have a field day. So, for example, another blessing that came out of it, they're like, okay, we're going to pay for your food. It's like, okay, wonderful. So we've been eating, we eat like we always do from, just really super high healthy food. And we've been just making the best out of it with what we have and moving through it in the best way. And it seemed like as if after coming from Florida, without us being able to do all the other work, it's been almost like a pause. Yes, it's almost like everything on hold on Memorial Weekend. And today is my grandmother's 26-year anniversary when she crossed to spirit side. And I feel genuinely in my heart, there's this blessing that is being gifted to be so present to life. These are all parts of life. We don't have to be stressed with life. We can be joy-filled with life. And the way we can be joy-filled in life, to bring the joy from the heavenly realm, like as if we are the ambassadors of heaven, it is when situations come up, include God Almighty, and so that from that beautiful, positive, wonderful attitude to joyfully bless the situation. And this, I truly believe, is the opportunity that's being gifted to all of us, to all of you as well. And I'm sure some of you have amazing attitude when situations happen. And sometimes, I know with some areas we have a much better attitude. Some areas we don't. Like, for example, in general with these things, I do very, very well. And Michael does very well. We team up so good together. This is like our strength. The area that's not strength is when Michael, for example, if severe exhaustion and lack of sleep has kicked in, that's when he doesn't show up in his best. And that's that is part of the working progress, so that way he can strengthen that with God Almighty. We all have areas that we got to strengthen. Mine is about, for example, when we switch beds. For example, last night at the hotel, I hardly slept. And I've learned when I have days like that, no problem, just try to take a nap. And what I've also during the day, what I've also learned is when my attitude is really great and I'm showing up that way, then God Almighty is blessing me in other ways. For example, my son called me, Kiyan called me. He said, Mom, I want to hang out tomorrow. I said, perfect, let's hang out. So then my other son called and said, Mom, I want to hang out too. And it was such a beautiful. So today I was so blessed. I got to be with my sons. We had the most amazing brunch. And we stayed 3 hours talking so deep, walking around this beautiful place, Rio, where the hotel is. And this is the area the kids grew up. I used to take them there all the time, talked a lot about their childhood, went over a bunch of things that we've not talked about in so long. So there was this opportunity that opened up where I could just share this 3 hours with my sons. And this was one of the most beautiful blessings that God gave me. So when you are in that positive, great attitude, blessings keep chasing you down. Good things take place. And this is the point that I'm trying to bring from here, from a personal share. Has it been inconvenient? You better believe it. So for practical purposes, for example, we're on 3 floors. Or imagine I have one bag, then I have my gym bag, then I have a bag with my pillows, my 2 different pillows, then I have a bag for my jackets because it's been raining, like which are the shoes, and the other bag is like my hair stuff, like, okay, taking it from one to another. And then thank goodness the gym Lifetime is close by. So going between all of this, up and down, moving things around, like our foods. For example, I have certain foods that I really, really love. It has been like displaced from moving it from Kiyan and Nevan's house back to the hotel and trying to circulate things. It's been funny. I've been laughing a lot about it and being very lighthearted. And I decided, you know what? I'm just going to catch up with everything this coming week. God is giving me some extra time to relax. And like yesterday, I got a chance to go to the gym at 7 a.m. I was there till 11:30. I took 2 classes and I worked out, and it was like amazing, because that was one of the things that Michael had asked me on the drive up. He's like, what is the area that you really want to improve? I said, I want to be in the gym a lot more. And look at that. That just opened up for me to be in the gym a lot more. So what your heart wants comes into pass. Keep your attitude great. When life situation happens, don't go into victim, go into victory. Just remember, if something is happening, other people are involved, you are positioned in a place to be a hope, to bring inspiration. We really served that for the condo owners. They were so grateful how collaborative we were, how cooperative we were, how kind and loving we were. And these do not go unnoticed. God Almighty is a witness, wants to see, are we showing up in that? And these are all part of living abundantly, living joyously, living more prosperously. Because prosperity, abundance isn't just finances. It's a way of life where you are more operating from the great qualities of God Almighty that's given unto you. And this is a gift that is part of our embodiment. So we can literally bring the blessings of heaven onto this earth. And I'm so grateful to be able to have this opportunity to give voice to it, to share it with you. So you too, if you come across it, you can just be reminded you have a different way to share this. And things do not have to be, especially even if it's rainy, even if it's a holiday, even everything is on hold, you don't have to have it affect your mood. You are the one in charge. So take charge and decide, and go through it in a much better attitude, because you can. And when you do this, you're changing the history of your past, so your future changes because your present has changed. That's the gift you're giving to yourself, and you're giving gift to this life. And what a beautiful, glorious blessing that is. So that's what I wanted to share with you all. Going into this week, it's going to be interesting because tomorrow they're coming to assess to put the drywalls on. We are teaching the True Prosperity Living Mentorship at 3 p.m. So Michael and I are probably going to go to my son's house if they're not finished by that time. Michael has his men's circle on Thursday, so that's going to be also interesting. And tomorrow night, Monday night, Michael and I have our celebration circle with our private ministry community. And this is life. And here's another thing. I even had to cancel my birthday party here with our dear friends. We scheduled it. You know what? This is part of the blessings of life. If you decide life is here to bless you and support you and guide you with everything that happens, it is your attitude that you are going through the experience, and you come out of the experience very differently. You do not need to suffer. Suffering is a choice. Bitterness is a choice. So is joy and thanksgiving. And I trust you choose joy and thanksgiving instead of suffering. And that's from my heart to yours. I love you all. Have a beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous week as you hear this. And if this message really sat with you, please share it with somebody else. That's what really helps when you share this podcast with others. And especially on Apple, 73% of you listen to this on Apple. Please go on Apple Podcasts and just go ahead and make a comment. Give us a star. Take a screenshot. Send it to me. You will enter our monthly draw where we give a winner $100 just for gratitude. We love doing that. So looking forward to it and love you all so much. Bless you. And may you be so joyous through every step of your way, because that is your truth. That is what God Almighty created you to be. I've just remembered, and I'm sharing it with you.